Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Demo Day, our big event here at KTH Innovation. We've got 90 minutes and 13 teams lined up, ready to present. And we're also very happy to have a guest speaker from 29K joining us. My name is Lykke Westgren, and this is my colleague Hannes Eder. Usually we work as business coaches at KTH Innovation, but today we have the honor of being your hosts of this event. For those of you not familiar with KTH Innovation, we support students, researchers and employees at KTH who want to develop an idea and bring it to the market. And every year we get to see over 300 new ideas joining into our process. Today you will meet 12 of these ideas who have gone through the KTH Innovation 12-month pre-incubator program, where the teams get extra support and focus to get as far as possible. A year ago, these teams did not have much more than an idea. So keep that in mind when you see them pitch. As you are well aware of, this is a digital event, meaning that we've had to take away the mingling afterwards. But if you want to get in contact with the teams, how can you do that? Hannes, what options?
Excellent question. There's two options. You could either use the links that were posted in the invitation email you got. Or we also keep our chat open in the Zoom channel if you want to post your contact details, and the teams will reach out to you after the event. But before we dive into the demos, I would like to say a few words about this 10th batch of our pre-incubation program. Now, I came on board just about a year ago onto KTH Innovation as a coach, just at the point where these teams started their journeys. Being an entrepreneur myself, I know just how hard it is to go from zero to something, to create something new in the world. And it's been thrilling to follow these teams along the journey. We've met for intense workshops once a week for a full year, working with everything from early market validation to how to build up your sales structures, to onboarding your first customers, building partnerships, so on and so forth. Not least important, taking care of your team, knowing how to stay motivated through thick and thin. I think it's been a tremendous learning experience, and also very important from a social point of view. We made a lot of good friends during this year. So we're so proud of the teams that are going to present today. But the demo day is not only about bragging, it's also about making connections. And we know there's a lot of KTH people out there in the audience today. There's also a lot of investors, angels, who many of which joined our early bird network. And for all of you, in whatever capacity you are here, there are ways to get involved with us. So please reach out on kth.se/innovation. But enough talk, let's jump into it. Lykke, over to you.
Yes, so the first team we'll see today, they actually met at a language cafe here at the KTH library, where they discovered that they had separately been working on the same idea, a new platform to improve the train travel experience in Europe. So let's see what Team Voily is up to.
What do you think of when I say international travel? Maybe you think of traveling with an airplane. That is what most people think of. However, COVID-19 has changed the playing field of how we travel today, and I'm sure everyone is itching to get to travel once again. My name is Gabriella, and I am the co-founder of Voily. It is normalized in today's society to take an airplane wherever we want to go. But have you ever considered traveling by trains before? Why go through the hassle of getting to an airport and going through security checks when you can have the comfort of traveling right into the heart of a city? You don't want to miss out on the great experience of the beautiful mountains of Switzerland passing by your window at your train seat. Traveling by trains is also way more environmentally friendly than traveling by plane. So why don't we travel by trains more? Well, here's the problem. Imagine that you want to visit several cities in Europe. Every country has its own ticket provider, And in order for you to book your trip, you have to go through every single website and match the timings of the different providers. You will then end up with a lot of confirmation emails and a separate ticket for each leg of your trip. You might even lose track of all the tickets you need. I think you can all imagine what a hassle that is. But don't worry, this is why Voily exists. We want to make trains and buses your first choice of transport. By providing you all tickets from different providers in Europe into just one single platform, you can easily search, build, and book your multi-city trip in just one transaction. You will then get one confirmation email with your whole trip integrated into one ticket, but a limitless amount of choices to mix and match the destinations that you want. The lockdowns are easing, and we are all dreaming of planning our next vacation. So next time you think of travel, think of Voily. Join us in inspiring sustainable travel. Thank you for listening.
Fantastic. Hi, Gabriella.
Hi.
So one thing we practice in the pre-incubator is to present and sell your ideas to others at any time. So to potential customers in the audience, why should they use Voily?
Well, Voily is all about the comfort of your whole journey. So we make it easy to plan, to book, and to manage all your tickets while you're traveling.
Nice. In one interface, or?
Yes,
yeah,
in
cool.
one interface.
And another question is that something the world's been facing the last 6 months is working in remote teams. You actually had this set up from the start with team members in Sweden, Singapore, and Vietnam. How has it been for you, as such a scattered team, to attend the pre-incubation program and also building your team and team culture?
Well, it's been working really well, actually. We have all our meetings remotely, and we work in smaller groups on different projects, such as the product, the business, and the marketing. And those teams overlap between different countries, so we have to work remotely. And our team is very diverse in terms of where we're located, but also our competences and genders, and that is a strength of ours. So we have a lot of different ideas and perspectives, but our working environment is very open, and we take everyone's opinion into consideration. We also use project management tools such as Airtable and Trello to keep a bird's eye view over everyone's progress and have team meetings to update each other all the time.
Nice. Sounds like a solid team. Thank you, Voily.
Thank you.
Thank you, Voily. The next team is the first one ever in our program to have a launch into space on their schedule. Pork Chop is building propulsion systems for Nano satellites. Let's hear their pitch.
Pork Chop's vision is to make space exploration affordable for everyone. We strongly believe it should be just as easy to send something to space as it is to Spain. I am Victor Gonzalez, one of the co-founders of Pork Chop. We build propulsion systems for nanosatellites. Nanosatellites are currently experiencing an explosion in popularity due to low development and launch cost, which has led to the creation of $1.8 billion industry. But nanosatellites today are not achieving their full potential. In space, they are very restricted. They are stuck in the same orbit going around the Earth until they burn up in the atmosphere. They also cannot avoid collisions with other objects in space, and they cannot climb to higher orbits to get an even better view of Earth. But Pork Chop's propulsion system, the Pork Chop X, solves all these problems with ease. Pork Chop X is completely integrated inside the structural frame of the nanosatellite, meaning it takes up virtually no space inside at all. We call it invisible propulsion. You can think of it as putting an entire car engine inside the chassis. Our founding team has experience in aerospace, electronics, and embedded systems engineering. This has allowed us to design and produce the first Pork Chop X, which will be flying in orbit next February. We really couldn't be more excited for this. Our goal at Porkchop is to give our users the right tools to explore space with their nano satellites. And it all starts with having the ultimate propulsion solution. See you in space.
Wow, thank you so much. Victor, how your product is going to fly into space something like 18 months after you started development. And this is in an industry with notoriously high barriers of entry. Tell us, how is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't easy at all, I would say that. But definitely, in the beginning, we discovered that there is a potential problem in facing today's nanosatellites, and namely that they have very restricted maneuverability once they are in space. Clearly, a propulsion system solves all these problems, but the ones that you can find out there are bulky and expensive. They suck, basically. So when we came up with the idea of having a propulsion system inside the frame, we got really positive feedback from our close circle. For example, some professors here at KTH helped us during the tech development, and which allowed us to start talking to customers sooner rather than later. And also, I would say that the main core of this is that our founding team has the right educational and industry experiences to make it happen in such a tight deadline. We also learned a lot from speaking to these customers, and from this trying to design what we think would be the propulsion system of their dreams. Our approach in this sense has not been exclusively on R&D, which all other companies do nowadays, but also on user experience and affordable design. Having said that, I would say that our goal is to provide the best tools to explore space for our customers. If we can have fun while designing and making these tools, then even better for us.
Fantastic. How has been being part of the pre-incubation program, how's that influenced you during this year?
It's been invaluable, I would say that. The business support, the IP help, the office space, workshops, and so many other things that were all instrumental in putting us where we are right now. And as our business coaches, Tom and you, have pointed us in the right direction so many times that I can't even remember how many. But it's necessary and fundamental when no one in the founding team has experience in, for example, entrepreneurship.
Okay. Thank you so much, Victor.
Thank you, Hannes.
Okay. Next team is an international one that wants to make sustainable materials and solutions the #1 choice for homeowners. For this purpose, they developed Spara Grönt, an online platform that allows homeowners to join group initiatives for collective purchase of sustainable materials and solutions. Let's hear more about Spara Grönt by Construct.
Hi, I'm Florian, CEO of Construct and creator of Spara Grönt. Spara Grönt empowers homeowners to collectively purchase sustainable solutions for a more energy-efficient home. If you own or construct a house, I'm sure that at one point you've thought about measures like insulation, solar panels, or heating. Such kinds of investments would help you to save on energy costs and improve living conditions. We have created Spara Grönt because we believe that local group initiatives are the best way to accelerate the adoption of energy-efficient building solutions. Let me explain you how these initiatives work. First, we select sustainable solutions that are suitable for a region. We then set up initiatives with local contractors who specify how many participants they need to give the whole group a discount. Next, homeowners can register for an initiative. After registration, homeowners are contacted by our partner contractor. They receive advice and a customized offer. Lastly, the contractor arranges a time and takes care of the installation. Spara Grönt has evolved from years of work and research in the industry. Now we are close to launching our first initiatives in regions of Germany and Scotland. Are you an interested homeowner or business, or do you work for a local government who wants to help its citizens to achieve their energy goals in a collective way? Go to sparagrönt.se to check out our demo and reach out to us, so we can reach out to you.
All right, thank you. So this is a digital event, and what do we do if someone can't come here? Well, of course, we can interview them over Zoom. So Florian, hi, hope you're there. I have my first question for you. Hi.
Hello, and thanks for having me remotely. Can you hear me?
We hear you very well.
Perfect.
So Florian, tell us, what is the main reason why local authorities and contractors should work with you?
Well, regional authorities and also businesses that are active in the field, we all have a common goal, and it's to enable homeowners to save energy and become more sustainable. And what our platform really implies is an organized process and the attractive discount, but also, and maybe more importantly, the social effect of knowing friends or neighbors who are in the initiative group, and also the realization of people that this is a unique opportunity for them and the time to do this is now. And all of these factors make energy solutions appealing as never before. And I believe that this appeal through our platform will also help innovative installers and manufacturers that we are working with to reach more customers. And when these innovative businesses are more in the focus of a local community, eventually this helps to create an atmosphere of innovation on a regional level.
Great, so many win-win reasons there. In the pre-incubator program, being part of a community and learning from peers to peers is an important part. Can you give us an example on how this has helped you during the past year?
Yes, of course. That's a great question, because I mean, learning from each other, it's an important part of the pre-incubator. And often other teams are or have been tackling similar issues. And there are shared challenges for team, for business, for users, and also for tech. And an example from myself is that we're looking for new dedicated team members for marketing and for back-end development. And last week I was discussing this with people from the batch, and I could learn from Björn from Verwalter how he's able to find interested people in his direct environment. And from John from ProTendering, I learned how they convince and sign people at our early stage of not being able to pay salaries. So this has helped me a lot indeed.
Super, thank you so much for sharing and good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Construct and Sparagrönt. Next up is P-Labs. Modern day machine tools. They're so fast that they can't be operated at full speed because of the vibrations that would cause. P-Labs solves this by developing machine beds out of a new type of polymer with unique dampening abilities, while also reducing the current carbon dioxide footprint of each machine tool by 2/3. Vivek, the founder and CEO of P-Labs, has been busy during this year writing both a book and a blog on kth.se. Let's hear P-Labs' pitch.
Hi, I'm Vivek, founder of P-Labs. At P-Labs, we are enabling manufacturing companies to achieve never-before productivity and product quality. We are doing this through development of materials that can be readily plugged into machine tools, machines that manufactures your everyday components like your mobile phones, making these machines into high-speed monsters. Leading machine tool builders have expressed their frustration that it takes more than 6 months to acquire machine tool components. Machine tool users have echoed the demands for high-speed machining for simple reasons of decreasing costs and increasing functionality. Through intense R&D and testing, we have come up with Polycyte, a novel, sustainable material with excellent dampening properties that absorbs vibration even during high-speed machining operations. This gives a better product quality and increases the lives of cutting tools. We provide solutions such as structural materials for machine tools that can be retrofitted into a new or an existing standalone machine. Polycyte also finds application in metrology devices, pump bases, where vibration isolation is critical. Polycyte can be manufactured within a couple of weeks, enabling quick value delivery to the customer. The dangerous CO2 emissions associated with existing casting process is eliminated by 2/3, making Polycyte a sustainable alternative. We are young entrepreneurs at KTH committed to taking P-Labs to a global market. So join us in accelerating the pace at which the world attains sustainability. For more information, check us out at plabs.in. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek.
Thank you.
So you've been busy this year. How would you describe your journey so far, and where are you going from here?
Oh yeah, it's been an incredible journey since the last October. Right now, we started with this idea as a very basic concept when we approached KTH Incubation, and through immense support from the mentors and from the facilities here, we began with interviewing the key stakeholders in the machine tool industry, which were the machine tool builders and machine tool users. And through the data which we collected through the interviews, we right now have a physical prototype in hand, which we are testing it out on an industrial setting. So we are implementing these products of ours on 5-axis machine tools, which are commonly being used in all the machining industries. Our next step is to continue engaging with the customers, continue engaging with fixture designers, machine tool builders, machine tool users, and try to implement it on their device. And also, we are coming up with a business plan, wherein we are trying to finalize the appropriate distribution model, pricing model, and that's our way forward right now.
Thank you. Vivek, there's a lot of people in the audience today who are thinking about joining us, and some of them have probably applied to the next batch of the pre-incubation program. What would be your recommendations to them in order to get the most out of the pre-incubation program?
Right. Like I said, it's been an incredible journey, but this wouldn't have been possible without the support from mentors, the facilities at KTH Innovation. We were able to prototype it because of the facilities at the prototyping center at KTH Innovation. So I would probably recommend the applicants to make maximum utilization of the resources here, probably exploit the resources here, but then keep in mind about paying it forward so that entrepreneurs and companies can grow. There's an sustainable environment for everyone to grow. That's my advice.
Great advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Cool. For any latecomers, this is just a little reminder if you wonder how to get in contact with the teams. So there you can either follow the links that are under each team in the invitation sent out, or just simply post in the chat that you want to get in contact with them, and that will happen after this event. So next team up, this is a social game app that will take your nightlife to the next level. Even a pandemic couldn't stop them from launching. I don't want to spoil more, and here is Nightly.
If you were to go out party tonight, how would you go about it? A few of you might know someone, like a bouncer or promoter, that handpicks a group of great customers selected to access the nightclub or event. Depending on how you are perceived, this could work for some, but no one knows everyone, until now. Hi, I'm Henrik, co-founder of Nightly. Nightly is all your nightlife in one app. Become a great customer anywhere you go, no matter if visiting a new city, area, or your bouncer is not working tonight. It works like a playful game. Our network allows your group of friends to collect points and earn rewards while out clubbing, then later save the value created from all the event engagement. Kind of like a global nightlife resume. We give all club customers an equal opportunity to reach for the stars and receive justifiable treatment when visiting their choice of party. All while simultaneously helping event organizers improve their visitor retention with smart entrance decisions and encourage purchases with loyalty coins. Because hey, should a party app be more fun than just putting your name on a list? Corona impacted our industry, but not even a pandemic stopped our company from getting the app and complementary website to market with a group of supportive clubs launching their first events. Now, Nightly is on a mission of connecting all nighttime businesses and building a broad social platform that matches any customer's idea of a great night out. So, come join our party and download the free app at nightly.se.
Nice.
Thank you.
So, a pandemic wouldn't stop you from launching. Tell us, how have you been managing throughout this pandemic and still getting the progress that you've got?
Right. Yes, it's been challenging times, especially on the B2B side, facing organizers. But as a team, we overcame these obstacles and continue to make progress by focusing on doing pilots with or at small private events that are still allowed to be open. This was incredibly valuable for us since it allowed us to make relevant industry contacts, as well as gain a tested product that we now know meets all the key criteria when hosting events in the future. Because even though that no sales could occur at these events, Corona instead gave event staff more time on their hands to sit down with us and not only look at the B2B side, but the B2C community as well, that we are launching an MVP for this week.
Cool, so we've got to try that one out.
Right.
Okay, so today we are in our new offices here at KTH Innovation. And there's not a lot of people, unfortunately, but those that we see here the most would say is you and your team. No, but thank you. But what's going to happen after the pre-incubator program for you?
Yes, we're very excited to see all these hours spent in the offices, the amazing offices, starting to pay off. And Nightly just received its first 2 paying customers, as well as the first consecutive event publicist. Therefore, some time will be spent on developing a customized web plugin for one of the larger organizers that was demanding this. But with a proven B2B case, most of Nightly's attention will be directed towards the USP, building traction in the community and helping those guests that are still going out during these times to make new friends while keeping a safe distance at night.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And
thank
good
you.
luck.
Thank you, Nightly. Next team up is FooIn. Did you know that if 1/3 of all food is ending up as waste? Now this team, they're building solutions that allows grocery stores to save tons of food each year. Let's hear it from FooIn.
Food waste is one of today's biggest challenges. Did you know that today over 20 million kilos of meat are each year wasted? And that's only in the Swedish grocery stores. And of course, no supermarket wants to waste food, and nor do they want to have expired food in the shelves, since that leads to poor customer experience. So today, in order to prevent the food from expiring, the grocery stores spend enormous resources on manual stock taking, and yet the problem remains. My name is Niklas.
And my name is Bure.
And we are FooIn. We provide inventory solutions for increased efficiency and minimized food waste. After a large number of interviews, several pilots, and co-development with the grocery stores, we know their problems.
And our solution is a new type of inventory system based on a hardware and software mix. So instead of the employees going into the shelves by hand and checking what they've got, our system does this automatically, which provides accurate and instant information on what they've got and when it expires. Our estimate is that the average Swedish grocery store can save 65,000 kronor each year and an equivalent of 50 tons of carbon dioxide. Our plan forward is to raise capital and focus on expansion and sales. In our estimates, the Swedish market size is about 300 million kronor. But we won't stop there. We at FooIn believe in a sustainable future, and our vision is that no food shall be forgotten nor wasted.
So come join us on our mission.
Wow. Welcome.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
So nice to have you here. Niklas, I know you've been super busy with a lot of different pilot projects running this year, and now you're signing your first customers. With so much happening in your case, how do you manage your time and how do you find a structured way to prioritize?
Well, the time is the biggest constraint for us. So the way we try to manage our time is to really make sure that we make the right things. And we have tried to follow the lean startup methodology. So for each thing we are building, we're always out and asking the customers, what do you want from us? How can we help you to create value? So that's the way we are doing it.
I think that's a fantastic answer. Thank you. What would you say is the thing that you're most proud of during this year?
Of course, it's the code development and also the pilots with our fantastic partners in the industry. And they have supported us so much during this journey. So that's the thing, to have partners.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us here, and good luck with your future development.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the team we're going to see next is building the next generation travel guide, which will make each journey a personalized experience and help you go from stranger to local in a click. Here is H. Sustain.
Hi, I'm Nicole, co-founder of H Sustain. We are building the next generation digital travel guide. We map the digital information with the physical objects and make them into personalized travel experience. Imagine you as a traveler just arrived in Vietnam. Everything's new to you, but you can't get all relevant information on everything that pops up instantly, especially in a new language. You may look into TripAdvisor, Tourist Guide, but all available content is the same to everyone. This doesn't give you a personalized experience. Everybody's different. Your preferred aspects are different from the others, and the experience is very individual. But there's no easy way to find personalized information. Therefore, we focus on creating an innovative interface that enables personalized content and search. Instead of interacting with keyboards, voice audio, we work with mixed reality. Our augmented reality search will help you recognize any objects wherever you go globally. And then the description will be based on your preference. For example, language, architecture aspects, or even hidden gems. It's very easy to use, reducing all the language obstacles and also removing heavy research before your trips. While getting a personalized experience, you're also empowered to share insightful stories about specific places. This will help others to discover more hidden gems. It becomes especially useful for the locals to explore deeper where they live, even under the travel restrictions. We also work with museums, municipalities, and private collectors to uncover more hidden gems. Get in touch with us. We just start our piloting now. If you're passionate about personalization or you want to become a user, join us and give us feedback. Let's shape the next generation of travel together.
So nice.
Thank you.
So what I understand is that your team is very much driven by a strong vision of what visiting a new city could be like. But how did you come up with this idea in the first place?
Yeah, actually, we started with a lot of user group meetings at the beginning. And from there, actually, we identified there's a strong need for acquiring and sharing information related to geolocations and landmarks. Actually, we started with a wider scope regarding community sharing economy, even sustainable living and mobilities. But then we narrowed down to this idea to just acquiring and sharing information for the travelers, actually both for travelers and for the locals who want to explore deeper where they live. Actually, this will in turn facilitate multicultural integration and also sharing local stories and uncover new places. This will facilitate with community sustainable development. On top of that, we also found out people have diverse preferences. So personalization in how to acquire the information and what and when to see is very demanded. Then that's why we come up with this personalized digital travel guide. And we also have the vision to offer one membership for all unique museums, private exhibitions, and also cultural institutions. So one membership for all. So now that's what we are focusing. Yeah.
Yeah. So as mentioned before, the listener here, some of them are, thinking, what is KTH Innovation and the pre-incubator all about? And what advice would you give to someone in the audience that think they have a pretty good idea?
Yeah, so I think the first step is to reach out to the startup community. So KTH Innovation is a great place to start with. So don't be afraid to talk with others about your ideas. And then you may find your perfect co-founders, partners, also teammates. And then you can grow this idea together and then to push it forward to further development. And the last thing I would say is meeting your target users, target groups as early as possible so that you can verify your hypothesis as early as possible.
Thank you for sharing those insights.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. We've come just about halfway through our demos, and it's time for an intermission that we think will be both thought-provoking and inspiring. It's been a tough year, and more people than ever are suffering from isolation and anxiety. Erik Fernholm, our guest speaker of today, and the founder and CEO of the social startup 29K, is here to tell us about how they are building using technology and science to allow everyone to improve their personal journey and growth. Welcome, Erik.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Erik Fernholm, and so 4 years ago, we said, me and my two co-founders, one is the philanthropist Thomas Björkman, and the other one is the co-founder and also now philanthropist Niklas Adalbert, co-founder of Klarna. So 4 years ago, we said, what is the biggest problem of our time? And if you look at any of the big global ones, you see all of them have two common things. One, they're all global, and two, they're all caused by human behavior. So if we want to get to the root cause and not just the symptoms of the biggest problems that we're actually challenged with today, fixing the CO2 problem won't do it. Any specific problem won't do it because we're actually at the cause of this. One of them is, the mental health epidemic. You've heard of it probably before. These are the current rates in Sweden, or actually the rates half a year ago. The current rates look like this. So today, globally, we have roughly every second person is suffering from mental illness. There's a massive problem with this, and one is that you don't probably feel like that. That's not your perception, because we don't talk about this. But what we see is every other person more or less around the world is actually suffering from one of these three, and there's a lot more than that. So that's just also another one. It's just one of, as I mentioned in the beginning, the symptoms. So no matter if we look at how we treat animals, if we look at mental health, if we look at the political state, we see that things are getting not better and better, more stable, or we're not getting only just more prosperous, but we need to actually change how we act, what we value. So this is what we've been diving into for the last 4 years. And what you need to understand is just how the kind of market works when it comes to changing people's behavior. So on the scale here, you can see that stuff can be instrumental and will make you feel better, or it can be transformational and will actually change the way that you operate in the world, make you more considerate, wise, etc. Low scalability, high scalability. So I mean, keeping people down here is actually what will make you money. So you give them stuff that won't work, keep them, fixing their symptoms, or you actually do the really expensive stuff up here that will actually change their lives. But it's hard because if they're actually changed, you can't make more money off of them. So there's a market incentive here to actually keep the problem sustained and not fix it. So this is why we said, to bridge the gap here, first of all, it's probably not a profit motive that can do this. It has to be a different one. So we structure ourselves just like Wikipedia did, as a foundation. And what we have to ask ourselves, to scale what really works and transforms people's lives, how do you make that not only accessible, but how do you make it work? And then 3 things basically pop up. Matching the evidence-based content with the individual's needs, that's a must. Secondly, you need to practice and integrate it over time. Like there is no quick fix when it comes to developing how we act in the world. And thirdly, and this is the most important thing, when you look into, for example, therapy and say, why does that work? What you see is the reason why therapy works is not the method, it's not the therapist, but the reason why it works is actually the safe and trusting relationship. That's the key. And that can be scaled because it's not about a trained psychologist or therapist. It's actually just about somebody being there listening to you. So knowing that, we dove into looking at what can a solution be. So basically, 29K makes evidence-based psychological change both scalable and lovable. The platform's aim is to create larger and more lasting effects compared to all other treatments in the market, but at 0.1% of the cost. And today we have roughly 50,000 downloads, 2,000 users on the app stores, a little bit more than that. Our average rating is 5.0. And we're getting massive amounts of data showing that the model is actually working. It is transforming people's lives. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, start with what works. So we partner with some of the biggest researchers in the world, some of the best psychologists in the world, like the guy who trains the astronauts that are going to Mars. He's building our content. And then we make that into, of course, a beautiful UX and make that accessible and available for anyone. But that's not the key. I mean, making great tools accessible is not the key. If it were that easy, it would be done already. The trick is you have to make it meaningful. And to do that, you have to make it human. So first of all, we put ambassadors who people look up to already through the programs. They share their stories. They share their vulnerabilities. And then you do it with real people. So it's not about the app, but you actually couple with other people, practice with them in live video groups. We built our own Zoom interface that self-facilitates guidelines. You get exactly the right tools, exactly the right instructions at the right time. And then you practice that in your everyday life. And this combination enables measurement. So what we can do is we can actually quantify and see where are people on their developmental trajectory, what is blocking them, and then putting them through this ecosystem. We're getting, with natural language processing being deployed in Spring, we're seeing that more and more this can become a learning ecosystem that makes transformation more or less demonetized. So I'll show you guys just a key feature around this, and that is the live video sessions that you have with other participants. So what we built is a way for people to self-facilitate conversations that are deep, and it's basically about 2 or 3 things. One is don't interrupt. 2 is don't try to fix the person who's talking, just listen. So it's basically, shut up and don't fix. That's the key when it comes to relational, development. Just be quiet. So more or less that. So we onboard people into these super simple principles that enables people to hear themselves, which is key. And then they practice in their everyday life. And I'll show you just a reflection of one of the ambassadors. So this is a woman, her name is Rachel Brathen. On Instagram, she has, 2.3 million followers. We took her through the program. We invited her entire community to take part, and it has been changing thousands of people's lives. So this is just a reflection on the content from her and a couple of participants.
Sharing is, it might be the most important part of this course for me, because it's so different from regular conversation. So doing the sharings where someone just holds the space for me to talk is a way for me to go much deeper.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful because the sharing thing, it just was a reminder for something that I already know.
Even though I don't know you, I feel a lot of love and I want to give all my support to you.
So it's very powerful, like to share and...
Well, that's what life is, connecting with people, understanding them, that everybody has their own shit, but we share our shit, and then it's our shit. And we're not alone anymore.
An hour ago I haven't met you, and now yeah.
Really grateful. Oh, now I'm crying also.
Okay. So, putting people at their edge and giving them social support is transformative. So what psychology has discovered in the last 15 years, and this very few people know, is that we know how to treat 95% of all the issues that people are struggling with. So we know how to fix people, and not only that, we also know how to enable people to grow into wiser decision makers. So they're more considerate. So when they start an innovation or when they invest their money, they don't only think about their own interests. And this is the way we are actually creating the problems today, is that there's an incentive to only focus on yourself and your own, progress, GDPR, whatever, however, or GDP, sorry, too much GDPR. So focus on basically your own progress, and that puts the collective progress at risk. The environment is just such a clear example that we're not considering how we are impacting our surroundings. So this type of decision making is basically something that's learned, and it can be developed beyond. Like, it's natural, but you need to take the next step. Just to add, last couple of slides. So COVID-19 hit, we paused our entire operation, and we started building new types of programs that were much more tailored to the needs that we see coming up from the pandemic. So we did a research study. We saw that, anxiety rates just exploded, relations crashed, and people had a really hard time managing complex decision-making in an environmental landscape that was changing rapidly. So we gathered the best researchers in the world, built a couple of programs, deployed them. One of them was with Jan Eliasson, the former Deputy General of the United Nations, talking about how do you navigate complex situations, how do you manage yourself, how do you manage other people in that type of environment where you can't predict the future, like it's impossible. And the same as we mentioned with the self-compassion program from Rachel. And what we did there with Rachel, actually, that was our first program. That was the woman that you saw. And with her, it was, so the proof of concept for us was, how do we take something that's really, really deep, where you work through shame, inadequacy, like the feeling of not being enough? Because we knew that if we could take something really, really deep and make that scalable to millions of people, so it self-organizes and is transformational, then we know that we can do it for most programs, like we can do it for most types of interventions. And what we're seeing is that the feedback is amazing. Like, we have nurses from the States who say, I can't afford therapy, even though I'm a nurse in the States. I can't afford therapy, but this has changed my life. Like, this type of support has really, really meant so much to me during the pandemic. And basically, it's peer support. It's the best evidence-based tools in the world, and a process to integrate that and practice over time. So ratings, as I mentioned, quite positive, but at least 10,000 completed evidence-based interventions that have been proven to change people's lives. And recurring reports, like we're getting them continuous from people saying that like, wow, this has really had a big impact. And this one I'm really proud of actually. So when it comes to retention and when it comes to time-heavy interactive apps that need your engagement, the problem is always retention. And what we're seeing is if we get people into live video conversation with a group, the retention 14 or 15 weeks later is still 50%. They're still practicing, still using the tools, still being in groups. And our courses are only 4 to 8 weeks long, but people continually practice in these groups. I want to mention one more thing, and that's that the entire app is free. We've built this as a non-profit foundation funded by philanthropists, partnered with the Swedish government. So this is being deployed right now, actually in November, to the entire, so the Swedish government has about 266,000 employees. All of them are getting our stress and resilience program. And the reason why we want to make it as a foundation and not a VC, like we could be rich, but that was the issue that, the founders were pretty well off already. And that wasn't what was the biggest concern. It was more like, how can we use our energy to actually have the biggest impact possible? And we said that the integrity of the organization is the most important thing, because what this is also a research platform. So what we're doing is we're creating this, all the content is licensed under a Creative Commons license. It's open sourced and co-created with the best researchers in the world. So what they do is they need to get big sample sizes for their studies. We have a great interface and a lot of users, so they give us the interventions. We enable that to change people's lives. They get back data and they can publish studies with a power in the study that's unheard of. And it doesn't cost them basically anything. But what they are giving in their commitment is to actually make their tools reach people's lives, not only for the people who can afford it, but for everybody who needs it, basically. Yeah, that's it for me.
That's so great. Thank you so much, Eric. This really puts a smile on my face. Keep up the good work.
You.
And thanks for joining us today. Luke. Makes you happy, doesn't it?
Now I've actually started almost to cry there.
Me too.
Well, so now it's time for the second part of this demo day. We still have 5 amazing teams left to show you. And the next one up is it's a team that built a digital property assistant that will make life easier for landlords, tenants, and caretakers. It's multilingual, smart, and from what we hear, very friendly. Let's hear more about ForValter.
Hi, I'm Björn, co-founder of ForValter. ForValter empowers tenants to express their issues in a clear and efficient way. If you own or manage an apartment building, chances are your tenant's favorite way of reporting an issue is by a phone call. Somehow it seems the same issues are reported every year, and the reason for this is obvious. Current solutions are one-way communication channels that don't learn or evolve in the reporting process. Expressing an issue is difficult for a tenant, especially if they don't know what's wrong or don't know how to troubleshoot it. In addition to this, more than 20% of our population does not speak Swedish natively, making it even harder for them to express their issues. 2020 has really showed us the importance of a great digital experience. That's why we created Valter, the first digital property assistant focused on being easy to use. Valter is multilingual and so smart, he actually understands their issue. Here's how it works. The tenants meet the assistant on your website through a link or by scanning a QR code on the property. By answering a few simple questions, we identify and evaluate their issue, collecting all the necessary information for their specific issue before handing it over to your service organization. However, if it's easily fixed, we can instantly provide a solution for the tenant, saving your service team from tedious and time-consuming communication while creating powerful insights into root causes for the issues occurring in your properties. Valter improves over time with each report. Our pilot has been available to more than 1,000 apartments all around the country. And recently, we launched our beta program. The core team of Valter consists of 5 entrepreneurs. Together, we're determined to make Valter the preferred, helpful, inclusive solution for tenants in Sweden. Join us on our exciting journey creating an inclusive experience for tenants, stressless workdays for caretakers, while creating powerful business intelligence for your organization. Thank you.
Fantastic what you've created so far.
Thank you.
So with the background in the industry, you've built the app you knew was missing, and now you're signing your first paying customers. How do you feel?
It's a bit surreal, to be honest. A year ago, when we joined the program, we had a prototype. And today, with the amazing efforts of my team, we actually created something that brings value to customers in the industry. So it's amazing, honestly.
Can understand that. During this last 12 months, what's the greatest lesson for you?
Oh my God, there's so many. To be honest, like, test things and do it early. Try to launch things. You don't become good at building things or building products if you don't know what the customer needs. So try to test it as soon as possible. And don't view it as a failure if you haven't figured out the solution yet. Just improve on it, and over time it will become great. So test things early, I would say.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Good advice there from Björn. Thank you very much. Our next team is called Frimb. Did you ever notice how when your hands get cold, it feels like you're moving in slow motion? Now, this is a real problem for e-gamers, where reaction time needs to be super fast. Frimb solves this problem. Let's see how.
Hi, my name is Mario Maher.
And I'm Brahan Kader.
We are the team behind Frimb. We are passionate gamers and product developers. We started Frimb with the mission to design products which improve gaming performance for casual gamers and esport pros. We've designed the Triumph X, which is a comfortable gaming mouse made for gamers who wish to be the best. Why is the Triumph X more comfortable than other mice, you might ask? Well, we've noticed that gamers, including ourselves, suffer from cold hands while we game. Cold hands can be caused due to large tournament arenas or by factors such as nervosity, adrenaline, high caffeine or nicotine consumption, and even cold AC in warmer countries. Our solution to the discomfort of cold hands is to have optional heating above the Triumph X so that you can warm up your fingers while you game.
Triumph X is built with premium components and improves gaming reaction with 20% compared to gaming with cold fingers. As a premium offering, we are including a small but beautiful travel bag where the Triumph X fits perfectly for those days when you're on the go. We will be launching Triumph X on Kickstarter before the end of 2020. After Kickstarter, the goal is to scale with retail globally. Our aim is to sell 100,000 gaming mice within 18 months. So, do you care about being the best gamer? If so, join our community and support us by joining FRÖNB.gg. Thank you.
Welcome up on stage.
Thank you.
So, you're gamers yourselves, and you've built a product that you know will improve performance. It will shave off milliseconds in a world where that is crucial. And you're just about to launch your product now to fellow gamers. What does that feel like?
It feels great, to be honest. The greatest satisfaction, though, will be when gamers use the Triumph X and our gaming gear and win with it. That's when the seeds become the fruit. And as you said, we will be launching in the end of 2020.
Now, I know sustainability is a big issue for you. How has this influenced your decisions?
Well, we've been very keen on developing gaming gear with sustainability in mind. So that's why we built the Triumph X with 50% recycled plastics. And this will only increase with future products. We are the first in the industry to build gaming gear with with recycled plastics. And we aim to shift the industry towards a more sustainable approach. We're also looking to buy back the gaming mice that our users have been used, and in that way minimize our company's footprint.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You.
Sure. Well, Hannes, yeah, you've had the pleasure of being one of the batch coaches of this batch. And I'd like to ask you, what's your favorite memory of the year together?
Well, you know, it might sound strange, but I have to say it's when Corona hit back in March. I remember how we had our last physical workshop just down the hall here, and we didn't know it. And then the next week from there, everything was reorganized into an online format without skipping a beat. And actually, if anything, attendance went up. And it was such a group effort, and it was so great to see the whole group just rise to the occasion. So that would be my best memory of the year, actually. Apart from demo day, of course.
Of course. Well, thank you. So yeah, just testing is what we do here. The next case up is they're all about getting procurement right, because that can that could mean enormous gains, but the process is still largely a manual one. Pro tendering are real industry insiders who knows what tools that are missing, and they are set out to fill that gap.
The bitterness of low quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten, said Benjamin Franklin hundreds of years ago. True then, true now, and definitely true in procurement. My name is John Murray. I'm one of the founders of the software ProTendering. We're on a mission. We want to improve procurement, both public and private, worldwide. As senior purchasers, we've been struggling with two major challenges for decades. Two areas mainly handled manually. The first area is that purchasers need to read, find and extract hundreds or even thousands of demands, copy-paste them manually for the suppliers. ProTendering will read these documents and extract them automatically into a ready-to-use request form. The second area is that there are no predefined evaluation models available. Everybody has to do their own in Excel, often taking shortcuts with shell demands and lowest price as only criteria. ProTendering will import the tenders into an advanced evaluation model, which also will enable for the purchaser to optimize quality, performance criteria to relevant costs rather than just lowest price. Digitalization has been ongoing in procurement, but we don't do what other systems already do well. We do what other systems don't do. Imagine how much time can be saved for purchasers, and imagine how much money can be saved for companies and taxpayers worldwide with improved procurement. That's the mission we're on. Do you want to join us?
It's a great mission that you're on.
Yeah.
So your team has a deep self-experience understanding of the problem that you're tackling with more than 50 years in the industry between yourselves. Then how does it feel now to launch a product to this industry?
It feels really good. Me as a purchaser, I know that me and my colleagues worldwide are struggling in this Excel hell, or not even doing a proper tender evaluation due to lack of time or competence in evaluations. And this is only one problem that never reaches the board. And this is because tender works never measures or follows up, and it costs a lot of money and time. So for us, we are extremely happy, and we're looking forward to have a solution that will make us great impact in both public and private sector.
Yes, and we're looking forward to see that impact. It's really needed, as we all know. Well, from my understanding, your team is quite diverse in ages and genders and backgrounds and everything.
Correct.
What are your thoughts on diversity in a team, and do you think there's any team that would particularly well benefit from the pre-incubator program?
Well, we think all kind of team will benefit from this program, because the program is all about learning and developing both individuals and as a team, but also development the product. So we are diverse both by age and gender, and we have a deep professional expertise in both procurement, programming, marketing, and combined with young competence in social media and gaming. So for us, this program has been a huge impact for our progress and future success.
How many are you in your team today?
10.
10. Great. And how many were you a year ago? Do you know?
Actually, I started it this summer, and I will be social media manager and the competence in procurement.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for tendering.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next team is a group of researchers here at KTH who developed a solution that could save millions of tons of liquid from being poured down the drain every year. Let's hear it from Flexpenser.
Hello.
Hi.
We are from Flexpenser. I am Sara.
And I'm Julia.
What if your milk package could last a little longer after you opened it? Have you ever had a glue that dried out way too early? Packaging that doesn't protect your product after you've opened it. And because of this, we have preservatives. Because of this, also several million tons of liquids are wasted every year. With Flexpenser, we will protect your product even after you opened it. And Julia is going to show you how you can open a package without opening it.
Thank you, Sara. Let me show how it works. When you press, it dispenses. And when you release, it reseals. See, liquid came out, but the package is still closed. Flexpenser technology is a hole on a container covered by an elastic membrane. And we have carefully designed it according to science to protect your product, and you don't need preservatives. And contaminants won't get in. At Flexpenser, you can get these and many more features at the lowest possible cost. At Flexpenser, we see a future where liquids are not wasted and the quality of your products can last for longer. And together, we can end liquid and packaging waste. This is just an example. Flexpenser can be of any shape, size, and material. And this gives us a market of over $400 billion. Don't you want to know more about Flexpenser? Then go and look at our website, flexpenser.com.
Great. Welcome on stage.
Thank you.
So you have been busy this year developing a patent-pending product with a global potential. Many things have happened. What is the most unexpected thing in your experience for this year?
Thank you, Hannes. I would say that being an entrepreneur is entering into a journey full of unexpected events that can happen. But what most excited me was the supports and valuable advices and unconditional supports I received over the past years. And all this led to also an event that we won a competition in June that showed when all these things are in place, the result will be also expected.
Thank you. Now, the pre-incubator, it's not like going to school, right? You actually learn, most of what you learn here is you learn it by peer-to-peer sharing and discussions within the group, within the teams. Could you tell us something about how that has influenced your case and your thinking?
Yes, being in many different aspects, being among people who are following their dreams and they are willing to sacrifice for that is encouraging. Hearing their experiences, having difficulties with other companies or in their meetings, it's all very valuable to hear from different teams.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so how can we improve our chances of meeting new people and stumble into random interesting conversations? This team has come up with some delightful answers. Spotjet creates networking solutions for digital and physical events and for teams working remotely.
Hi, I'm Guillermo, co-founder of Spotjet. Digitalization of the workplace is no longer a thing of the future. It's a present that we're living in now. And it brings up so many new challenges in staying connected as we were doing before. Who doesn't miss a coffee breaks from time to time? Or do you talk to anyone besides your closest friends and coworkers? Even when physically present, it takes an active effort to stay connected, to make new friends, to go past the usual small talk. Some people, of course, are naturals at this. But at Spotjet, we want to drastically reduce the effort needed to socialize for everyone. That's our mission. In fact, we have already introduced more than 3,000 new connections in professional settings alone. That's why we're so excited to introduce our newest product, Spotbot. It sits in your messaging tools such as Slack, and it organizes small group meetings, similar to coffee breaks or water cooler talks. But it is so much more than them. Our bot is optimized for group diversity, and it even offers some fun icebreakers, all with little to no intervention. Getting started is super easy, and it will work for you whether you're working remotely or not. We have been using it ourselves to get in touch just past our regular work-related meetings, but our users are loving it as well. And best of all, you can join them now because it's free. So don't forget, even if you yourself are feeling okay, there might be a trend of social isolation going on in your environment. So head over to spotjet.com to take action and stop it now.
Okay, nice. Some say starting a new venture is like a roller coaster. In your case, you also have to change your idea during the year, making a so-called pivot. Can you tell us a little bit about that decision and how it felt to have to do that change?
Yeah, of course. It certainly has been a roller coaster. We had our first idea was actually centered on physical massive events, like hundreds of people. So obviously we had to actually think of something else. And it took us in the midst of the pandemic when we as a really international team with people from inside and outside of Europe had to actually move and everything. It was really stressful. But we did find a renewed sense of motivation in actually trying something new. We went back to what was our core mission, what did we want to bring to the world. And as Eric well said, like, we have some really staggering numbers regarding mental health. And we actually wanted to do our part also to try to bring them down. So that's why we didn't just want to make a digital version of what we were doing before. We actually sat down and tried to come up with something new, which was really nice.
That's great. So the pivot made you come closer to the core.
Yeah.
It's perfect. In the audience out here, there are many prospective users. Why should they start using your product?
Nice, good question. I have 3 reasons. So the first one is that we are actually users ourselves of our product. So whenever we are building something for it or expanding it, we keep our own interests in mind as users. So I think that actually can bring a sense of security of that we are actually building something that should be usable. Second thing is that we have actually built something quite interesting, I would say, that is a habit that kind of sticks. Because in some of the groups that it has been tested, as many companies, they had come up with innovative solutions to try to go past just working remotely from home and work meetings. So they had, like, for example, yoga mornings or, I don't know, walk and talk lunches, many other ideas. And they were exciting at first and they were really well intended, but then they never stuck, actually. Like, past the 2 weeks, people were abandoning it. But with Spotbot, actually, they have been using it quite a lot. And third of all, we have seen that we go a bit past the usual water cooler talks, because when people are meeting at the office, sometimes they just have the usual really small talk and everything, and they go back to their desks, especially with someone they don't know. But when they have to spend maybe 15 minutes talking with them, they actually go into deeper topics, and they get to know each other much better.
Okay, great. So everybody go out and try it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Spotjet. So, Licky, we're nearing the end of demo day, and you know, I find that learning to become an entrepreneur is a lot about dealing with uncertainty, right? And the last team of today, they couldn't make it here, unfortunately, for reasons to do with the current pandemic. There's no demo film for Shippy, but you should really check them out. They're doing this solution, they're calling it crowd shipping, right? That allows you to send your parcels with someone who's already traveling, turning basically our transportation sector towards a sustainable future. So they're doing really great stuff. They're Shippy. We want to thank all the teams that is presented today and all the you guys in the audience out there to join us. Over 300 people are out there watching us right now, Lykke. Can you imagine?
Yeah, closer to 400 actually.
400 even. Amazing. A new record, I think. And it's been really great to walk beside all the cases during this year, and we're looking really much forward to seeing you step out in the big world beyond the pre-incubation program. And we're also looking forward to new applicants, some of which are probably out there. So from all of us at KTH Innovation, good luck with your continued development.
Okay, so almost at the end. But last but not least, some final words from our director at KTH Innovation, the leading star since it was founded in 2007. Please come up, Lisa Eriksson.
I've seen at the American election you should jump up on stage and be energetic and so on. So I try to do that. I hope it works. Well, I'm so glad to be here. And I'm so proud of all the achievements from the teams. I think you should all know that you're really standing on the shoulders of others. And this is actually a week of celebrations. Not only the first digital demo day, it's also the week where we actually reached the number of 3,000 ideas supported through our process. More than 250 companies have been formed. And those companies are creating value and impact in society every day. And they have together raised more than 1 billion Swedish crowns in funding. I think you probably heard of some of these companies already. Some of them are very visible in media, and some of them are more B2B companies that probably don't attract that much attention, but are still creating a lot of value. One company that you probably heard of is FRÖNB. They have, during the pandemic, they are delivering goods to your home. And they actually started the journey here. Another company is degrade. It's a service that helps you to share pictures with your friends and also to remember your memories. And we also have companies like FooIn Robotics, Challenger Mode, and Volumental that they all started the journey here. So now it's your turn, the batch of 10, to start to turn your. Now it's your turn to take on the world and space. And remember that it all starts here at KTH Innovation. As you know, our tagline is here. And to all of you listening and taking part of this event, I just want to say another time that you're always welcome to contact us. If you have an idea, please check out our website and sign up. And if you are a mentor or an investor and you want to get more info about what we do, also connect with us. We're looking forward to you. So thank you so much for this event. And I think there are some celebrations starting.